So the first step is to scan the integer called n اللي هو بيقلنا عدد الأرقام يلي بعدين the user will enter. So the first thing we need is a scanner in order to do that. So whenever we want to read something from the console, our only way to do that is using a scanner. So we see that there's an error, and this is because we haven't imported the scanner yet. So we're going to import it. Saying import java.util.scan. So now we have the tool that will let us scan from the user, but we haven't scanned anything yet. So now if you run your program, don't expect it to do anything. So now if you want to scan an integer, you say int n, I'm gonna call it n, no, this is what's called in the exercise. And I'm gonna use a scanner called scan in order to do that. So since I'm scanning an integer, I use next int as a method. Hella, I need to create an array that is of size n in order to store inside it the n numbers that I'm gonna scan. So راح اخترع array of integers. So that's an array of integers. This is how it's represented in Java. It's int مع two brackets, one opened, one closed, and I'm gonna call it numbers. And whenever I don't know the values, I use this way of creating an array with new int, and I specify the size of that array between brackets. So the size of array, I don't know it, the user will enter it, and it's n. It's represented by n. So whatever the user will put in the console تحت will be stored inside n, and I'm gonna create an array called numbers that is of size n. So as اليوزر حط لي 5 هون راح يكون في بقلب n في 5, then I'm gonna create an array of size 5. إذا اليوزر حط 10, it's gonna be of size 10, and so on. Now how do I fill that array? I need a for loop to fill the array. Whenever I'm gonna go through an array, yeah, to fill it, yeah, to print it, yeah, to do whatever I want on an array, I need a for loop. So I started at index 0. This is the first index in an array. And it stops at the last index of the array اللي هو directly before the size. So in that case, it's n minus 1. So this is why I stop on I less than n. لأنه ما فيني أوصل للn. Now inside the for loop, I'm gonna scan each time an integer and store it on each index. لأنه عم بقول each index يعني I'm gonna use I لأنه I is the only thing that's gonna change from one loop to another. And what am I going to put inside numbers of I? I'm gonna scan an integer as well. So let's see how the program goes right now. I'm gonna run it. Now it's running and it's waiting for me to enter n. نحن هون at this line هلا نحن. So I'm gonna enter n to be 5. Now it's gonna scan 5 numbers. 1, 2, let's say I'm gonna say 3, then I'm gonna say 1 again, 2 again. Now if I try to write, I cannot write. It cannot scan again from me. It scanned already 5 numbers. It scanned 5 numbers because I told it to scan 5 numbers. Okay, so خلصنا من أول part يلي بياخد من الانبوت. Now I'm gonna do the actual calculation. Now I want my program to count كل رقم كم مرة قطع and tell me later on. So first let's start with the part of counting, then we go to the part of printing the output. So قلنا to count we're gonna need another structure اللي هو another array وراح نسميه frequency. قد ايه كبره هيدا الاري؟ هو قد ايه اكبر رقم معقول يمرق معنا. So نحن لما شفنا هديك الستراكشر يلي عملناها بالفيديو اللي قبل قلنا انه let's say can the largest number is 10, then we had 11 places to fill it. So إذا بنطلع شوي هون كان عندنا 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So we need 11 places in order to be able to store something on the index 10. So this is why بدل ما يكون بدنا 10,000 هيكون بدنا 10,001 in order to be able to write the 10,000 to count the 10,000 if it occurred. Now inside the same for loop, I can have another for loop, but it doesn't make sense. Inside the same for loop, كل ما بيمرق معي الرقم, I can count it immediately. How do I count it? That's the real question here. So هون إذا مرق معي 2, I want to count it ب2 هون. Okay? So أنا if I'm on I equal 0, then 2 is at numbers of 0, right? So numbers of 0, it contains what? It contains 2 in that example. Numbers of 1, I'm just writing here a comment just to help you understand what I'm doing. Numbers of 1, it contains 5. So أنا بدي أروح على numbers of 0 بس بقلب frequency. هذا الاري اسمه frequency. بدي أروح على numbers of 0. مين هي numbers of 0? It's 2. So بدي أروح على 2 وعد 1. So what do I do? That's what I say. أنا بقلب frequency I wanna add to that number يلي لقيته. أنا لقيت أنا I scan بقلب numbers of I. هو الرقم يلي أنا لقيته. So now numbers of I becomes my index in frequency. And what do? I add 1 to it. يعني plus plus. So frequency is the second array اللي هو هيدا. Numbers is that array. الرقم يلي لقيته ب numbers at a certain index I wanna increment it in the other array. So let me help you with that. So إذا بنطلع هون عندي 2 قاطعة at index 0. So this is I هي 0 1 2 3 and so on. So at index 0 بدي أروح على الرقم يلي at index 0 اللي هو 2 بصير الإندكس هون. الرقم اللي at index 1 اللي هو 5 بصير my index هون. So I'm interested with I just to get the number that is on I اللي هو رح يصير الإندكس تبعي ب the second array اللي هو frequency. So numbers of I is the index that I want to increment the frequency. And that's enough. That's it. That line of code will count each number in a second array. Now the only thing I want to do later on is go through that array اللي عديت فيه الأرقام. So I'm gonna go من int I equals 0 ل I less than 10,001 هالمرة. أو بدل ما أقول 10,001 it's better if I say frequency.length. وهون بعمل I++. So هون what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check if frequency of I is not equal to 0, then I can print what's in the array. So أنا هلا عم بمشي على هيدا الarray. It has its own I. هلا عم بمشي عليها. So at each number frequency of I, I'm gonna check if it's not 0 هي 0 بقى فيها هي 0 بقى فيها. I go here. Okay, it's not 0, then I print it. So this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say system.out.print ln I. ليه عم بقول I؟ لأنه this is the index يلي بدي أقول قد إيه كم مرة قطع. So I قطعت قد إيه كم مرة قطعت هولي 2 points حدا قطعت frequency of I plus times. Let's try it. So إذا قلت له رح فوت 10 numbers رح آخد هول numbers 6 2 2. قال لي 2 4 times, the 3 2 times, the 5 2 times, 6 1 times, 7 1 times. بعد في شغلة بدي أعملها إنه إذا 7 ما بدي يقول 1 times so رح استعمل الترنري operator هون. رح أفتح parentheses وبقول إذا the frequency of I is equal to 1 question mark, then I wanted to say time. Otherwise, I wanted to say times. Now if we try again, أقول بدي أحط 10 numbers and those are the numbers. بيقول لي 6 one time و 7 one time بدل ما يقل times. That's it. If you have questions, don't forget to email me or talk to me in class.